Artists, welcome back. This week we're going to do a project that is going to be done half this week and then we're going to finish it next week because sometimes in art class our art might take a little longer than just our 50 minutes we have for art every week. So this week we're going to do a night sky and then I'm going to have you save it somewhere special at home and then I will have a lesson next week and we're going to add to it, we're going to put something in our night sky. Now, my inspiration for this, I saw this book. It's called Bat Loves the Night, and it made me think of this beautiful sky and this giant moon. So that's what we're going to make today. And just a little hint, we're going to make some paper bats next week, but don't worry about that right now. All right, so for this project, I am going to use a piece of black paper and a piece of white paper to make a moon to start. Now, if you don't have black paper, that's okay. You could try to color a piece of white paper to make it look like a night sky. But just hold on a minute, watch my video, and then you can decide what you want to do. So on my black paper, I am going to make some stars and make it look just like a sky would look at night, on a clear night. So I'm going to very gently move my camera down here so you can see what I'm doing. So on my black paper here, I am going to make star shapes, and here they're pretty easy to do. If you want to make a star like this, if you know how, that's kind of tricky, go for it. But I also make stars by going crisscross and a couple other lines. It's another fun way you can also make snowflakes if you're doing your art that way. So I am going to do this all around my paper to look like stars in the night. You also could just make tiny little dots if that's what you prefer, or maybe even more fun, you can just do a mix of all of them. So I'm going to fill it with stars. Maybe even for fun, maybe I'll make a little shooting star. Okay, so this is just to get my sky going. Now, for the second part, we're going to add a moon. I'm going to bring this up again so I can talk to you in person. Now, I just drew my sky by adding stars, however many you want to or however you want to do them. Now, I used a white crayon so it shows up on the black paper. Depending on what you have, you also could make some adjustments. I have some metallic crayons, glitter crayons. You could even use a white colored pencil. It'll work the same. I don't know if my metallic crayon, that dark one, really didn't show very well, but you could try it. It's always fun to experiment in art sometimes, and then you learn how to make different things, and maybe you'll create something you didn't expect to find. That's kind of cool. All right. Now, the next thing is we're going to make a giant paper moon. So, I just got a scrap piece of paper because I like to save some paper and not always waste good pieces, but a piece of white paper is fine. Now, I already cut one out. Now, before you cut anything in art, you need to ask your parents' permission at home. Make sure that they know you're comfortable with scissors or that they're watching you, and you only cut the piece of paper that we're supposed to cut for the art project and nothing else, okay? So only cutting the paper, that's what artists do. So I found a little bowl in my art room, and it's a circle, it's round. So I am going to trace around this to make my big moon. Depending on what size you want to make your moon, it really just, you can find something around your house to trace it, or just draw a big circle. You're the artist, you can just do it freehand. That's fine too. So I'm going to show you real quick by holding this down. I'm going to set the bowl on my white paper. I'm going to hold it with one hand and very carefully trace all around it with a pencil. Now I'm going to cut this out. Now, to cut out in art, it's best to hold the paper with one hand, usually the hand you don't normally write with. that's going to kind of move the paper around. And with the hand that you write with, you're going to hold the scissors. Now, look at this. The bigger part of the scissors, if your scissors look like this, you can put 2 fingers in there. And the one on the top is for your thumb. And you go up and down to get a feel for it. Sometimes it takes some practice. All right, so I'm going to pick up my white paper, and I have my scissors, and I am very carefully going to up and down cut on that pencil line. And my other hand is holding the paper, and it actually is moving the paper for me. So I really don't have to move my scissors much at all. They kind of stay in the same spot right here. And then my other hand moves it. This takes some practice, but it's easier to cut later if you move the paper with one hand while you're cutting up and down with the other. There, I cut out my circle. I'm going to move my scrap to the side. I could recycle that. And now I have my moon that I know I'm going to want to glue somewhere on my page. But before I do that, I'm going to add some craters like a real moon. I'm going to set my black paper to the side also so I don't get anything on it. I'm going to show you 2 ways that you could make the craters on your moon. So I have another one I already did just to show you, and then you can decide. But in the end, you only need 1 moon because there's just 1 moon in our sky. All right, one way you can do it is just to take a regular black crayon. And I am going to make a few circles and maybe some like a letter C shape. Watch me. So I'm going to make maybe a C shape or couple circles, partial C's, to make them look like shadows on the moon or the craters of the moon. And you can make them different sizes because they are different sizes. So some curves, I did a couple circles, different sizes, and some almost like the letter C shape. That's one way you can do it, and it was just with a black crayon. Another way you can do it, and this is kind of fun and a little different, is if you take a water-soluble marker, so like a Crayola marker is a water-soluble one, not a Sharpie because that's permanent, but one that is called a regular water marker. And watch me do the same thing on here. But when you do this, it's kind of fun because like I said, they're made with water, so I'll do a couple more. Put the cap on. And another tip when you're using markers, make sure you hear that snap because then you know the marker's lid is on and it won't dry up. I'm going to take a cup of water and a paintbrush, and I'm going to dip this in the water, and I'm going to gently wipe it on the side, never tapping, because if you tap on it, it might tip over and spill or splatter, and we don't really need a lot of water. So we're just going to dip it in the water, wipe it on the side, and then look what happens. It turns the marker that we drew on the paper into paint. And I love this because it almost looks like a shadow. It makes it look like a light shadow, and it gives it a little bit of a grayish, almost bluish tint actually in the night sky. We're not going to paint the whole moon, but we're just going to touch on where we made those marker marks to make it look like some shadows on the moon. So that's just a fun thing that you can always try. You just take a marker, make your lines, your little circles on there, and then add water to that paper. So you've got 2 options to create the craters on your moon. All right, I am going to choose one, and I'm going to actually choose the painted one a little bit, but either one is perfectly fine. And I'm going to bring my black paper back. Move my water out of the way. and I'm going to decide where I think this moon will go. So I can turn it different ways. I think right now, I kind of like the look of it right here. So I am going to, first of all, you might want to make sure it dries. It should dry pretty quick. But I'm going to turn it over and use a glue stick. You can use a bottle of glue. If you have a bottle of glue, you just need to use a couple dots, a few dots. Dot, dot, not a lot is what I always say. You don't need a lot of liquid glue. I'm going to use this glue stick and very gently make a circle. Make sure also that the cap's back on and I hear a snap. And I'm going to glue my moon down anywhere I want to. You can make it in the center. I'm going to put mine in the corner. Just like that. And then I gently touch it, just like that. I'm going to bring it back up so we can all look at this. So this is what I'd like you to do for me today or this week, all right? And then next week, we're going to add a few bats to this, but we're going to do it in a certain kind of way. So don't go ahead and do that yet. This is what you're doing this week. You're going to make a night sky and a moon. Also, for those of you at home, just so you know, I always think it's always a good idea to write your name on it, even though your family knows it's you, but just to get into the habit. So I'm going to write Mrs. Arnold on the back of mine, and I'm actually going to use a white crayon because it's black, and it shows up really nice on black paper. All right, this is what you're going to do this week. Next week, if you want to prepare for it, I'm going to use 3 colors of construction paper to make 3 paper bats. So if you have some colored paper, you can use that. White is also okay. You can always color it or use some printed paper. But for next week, I am going to use 3 colors, and it doesn't matter what they are. Maybe I'll use the primary colors because we've just talked about them. But for this week, we're going to make your night sky. I'd like you to take a picture of it and show me what you made. Set it somewhere special, and then next week, we're going to add our bats. I can't wait to see your night skies, and have fun.